Hello. You guys know that I always like to start off my little trainings, coaching sessions with a little humor, some videos, but in this setting we're going to use humor. And we've got a little cartoon talking about I had to borrow from my 401k to get money for the parking meter. That can be funny on multiple levels, but I found that funny, so I thought I would share. This portion of our videos, we're going to talk about why I believe trading for a living is the best way, residual income, or more importantly, best way for us to get financial wealth and to make a living for our families so that we can reach our financial goals. But in order to get there, I wanted to talk about some residual income because some of us will not be able to start trading for a living immediately. You're going to have to build to that. I had to build to it. But you can look at it as residual income as you're building to actually now being able to do it full time. Robert Kiyosaki says that you can't become rich until you stop working for someone else. So until you retire and stop making money for somebody else, you can't actually start making and growing your wealth. So even if you can't start off trading for a living immediately, I want you to start thinking about it as residual income also. But what are some residual income out there? The first one that's probably going to come to your mind is MLM businesses. Most of us have been through these things one way or another. And when I say to you, 90% of the people in MLM opportunities are spending more money than they're actually bringing in, I think you all know that that's pretty much true. Most MLM situations is all about the pipeline, the downline. And if you don't have that downline, then you're not really going to reap the benefits other people have been in. And I don't know if you have, but I've been in those conversations where your friend gives you a call. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And then they say, hey, I've got Bob on the phone with me. He's the expert. Have you ever been trapped like that before? Or, you've done the MLM and you're calling all your family and friends begging them to sign up for long distance or cleaning products or whatever it is so that, and then when they call you the next time, you start to feel uncomfortable because you don't know what they're going to ask you for. So MLMs, I'm not going to say good or bad. I have my personal opinion about them. But in the end, we know that it's about networking. It's about a pipeline. It's about, and it takes time to build all of that in order for it to really, especially become your full income. Residual income, it also takes time because you got to get those people working with you. Online marketing, been there, done that also. Obviously, I have a website, so I'm very abreast with some of the SEO and different tactics for gaining traffic to your site and trying to sell things. And most people might associate this with affiliate marketing. Somebody else has a product and you promote that product either through Google AdWords or however you're generating traffic to this landing page. Now, anybody who's been on the internet for a while has come to a landing page, and you all know what I'm talking about. Usually it's this 5-mile long page with testimonies and fact about why this product is the best. And sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. But again, the key to that is putting in effort and time into getting the traffic to the link to your site and then hoping that people buy once they get there. And the competition is so strong with that because there are definitely a lot of people trying to make money. And there's other facets to online marketing. And more importantly, there's other facets to internet, ways to make money on the internet. Another one is paid surveys, and where you go and you fill these out and they tell you can make up to $7 or $8, and what it really is a penny. Or the new thing right now is Cha-Cha and KGB. You ever see those commercials for KGB where you text a question and they give you the answer? You can get paid. Those are people getting paid on the other side of that to answer your questions for you. Also, eBay stores, again, selling products from somebody else or your own. I was watching Clean House the other day, and there was a guy there, and a lot of the clutter was the stuff he had for his eBay store. And, of course, creating a website. And certainly give me a call, send me an email, and I can tell you about all of that. But again, it's it's like that commercial you see on TV. I had my son build a website. The key is you can build a website, but if a tree falls in the forest and no one was there, did it really fall or does it make a sound? You know, you can build a website, but if nobody knows you have the website or aren't going to your website, it doesn't really make a difference. And then there's all these work at home things you hear about. You remember back in the 80s and the early 90s, it was about the medical billing and putting things together, and all these things, you know, have their positive and negatives. All these have a potential to make residual income, but I don't think as a whole that these all provide a clear, definitive direction on how you can make a living off of this, simply, clear-headedly, than the stock market. So, you know, again, as I was saying earlier about Robert Kiyosaki saying you can't make money until you're able to retire, the other side of that, here from Susie Orman, is that a big part of financial freedom is having your heart and mind free from worry about the what-ifs of life. And especially like me, you have kids, you know, the what-ifs seem to be coming left and right. And so residual income is good, but some of the what-ifs maybe take that income. So it's my opinion that the stock market is the best way to go to not only get residual income, but also to become your income. And I want to talk about some of those reasons why I believe trading for a living is the way to go. First and foremost, there's unlimited income potential. You can make millions, you can lose $10. Because if you start off with $10, you can lose it. Or that $10 can be turned into something, you know, interesting. Dave Elliott last year, about this time, maybe about this time last year, brought a stock called MVIS. This is not a recommendation, I'm just telling what he did. And it was 70 cents, and he just happened to know someone, you know, it is what it is, but it went from 70 cents to $5. So if you had, you know, $10, you invested in that stock, you got 10 shares, and it goes up to $5. You know, you made, did the math for me, somewhere around $50. So, you know, it is possible, and there's tons of websites out there, you know, for penny stocks, but that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the unlimited potential for the stock market. Once you have defined and developed your trading system, once you've come into the oneness and the being of who you are as a trader, the self-discovery of who you are as a trader, and come up with your trading style and trading system, the potential is unlimited. The problem is, how long will it take you to become at one with who you are as a trader? Alex, who leads the room that I'm in, talks about it took him 4 years. It took me a couple years, not because it's hard, but more importantly, it's all about psychology, and you know, that's one of the things we'll be talking about, the psychology of trading. But there is unlimited income potential that you can make from the stock market. Small capital required to start. You know, you can start with $10, you can start with $300, $600, whatever you want to start with. Certainly you want to investigate the different vehicles that there are out in the market and find out what's the best way to start there. You know, I always talk about futures. I always talk about the futures partners that we have that have intraday immediate accounts at $300. So you could buy one contract for $300. There are plenty of ways to go. You can take $200 and buy 100 shares of a dollar stock. Whatever it is, there's small capital requirement. Now, I can go back to my MLL days, and I used to be a part of ACN, and my brother paid for me to be a field trainer, and that was $500. Well, $500 with most brokers out there, especially with futures, get you one contract. With my broker, it gets you more than one contract. We'll get you one contract and some leftover. You know, those initial startup fees can be a killer. When I was a realtor, you had to pay the board, you had to pay for MLS, you had to pay your broker, you had to pay, you know, these things ended up, you know, thousands of dollars. And with investing, it's much smaller, depending upon what's going to be your first trade. Now, in addition to the low startup is the low overhead. Again, I'm going to go back to my realtor days. You had to buy the signs, had to buy the computer. You had to have the fees for the internet, for the MLS, for desk fees. You know, there were all these things that you had to pay, advertising, all these things you had to pay and you haven't even made one commission yet. You know, when it really comes down to for trading, you've got commissions, and you've got sometimes there's some subscriptions services you probably want to be a part of. Very low monthly overhead fees compared to other things. I'm going to combine all three of these to talk about the advertising costs. Again, when I was a realtor, I was spending easily $1,000 a month. In real estate, they talk about touches, and you know, people need to see you before they feel comfortable actually interacting with you. And so you had to keep getting in front of their face. And not only did I have to spend that in the papers, but my kids and I will walk neighborhoods, hanging up flyers on all these doors. So that was time. And we all know time is money. So, and there is not. Who are you advertising when you're trading for a living for yourself? You're not advertising anything. So there are no advertising costs. No employees. I've worked with family. You guys all know what they say about working with family. But, you know, there's no one that you have to motivate. There's no one trying to get your job. There's no one trying to hinder you at your job. There's no employees. It's you by yourself. Now, of course, I recommend you networking and getting in groups. But most importantly, there are no employees. There's nothing that you have to work with as far as trying to become a full-time trader. Now, along with that, with this overhead and no employees, there's no products. You don't have to buy anything. I don't have to sell anything. I don't have to make anything. There's no inventory that I keep. Again, realtor. I had to have these signs in my back. You know, I had to buy these products. For this one client, I actually joined the MLM. When I joined the MLM, she gave me her listing. You know, manufacturer. I had to manufacture these property reports that I would go around the neighborhoods and hang up on doors. MLMs, you know, selling. I've sold long distance, perfume. You know, nobody tell me you got to buy this. All of that stuff. No inventory. There was nothing in my closets. Just you, your computer, and your trading system. No customers, tenants, or clients. I can't tell you how good that is. You know, again, I keep going to go back to my realtor experience. You know, I was doing pretty well until the market crashed. When the market crashed, my business crashed. You know, you can't force someone to buy a house. You can't force someone to sell your house. Sure, when the market crashed, there were a lot of people wanting to sell, but there were no buyers. You know, and more importantly, the personality that you have to deal with. I've been in management. I've been a teacher. And you know, and part of the hardest thing in all of that is the relationships and the personalities you have to deal with. You know, some sellers were great, some were horrible. Some buyers were great, some were horrible. You don't have to bounce around with these personalities. Tenants, I've had properties, people not paying the water bills, people leaving the property in disgust. I had HUD properties, and HUD inspectors would come out and tell me you had to put a new window here or put this there. You know, just none of that to worry about. You know, no calling family and saying, hey, can you do me a favor and sign up with this long distance, or can you do me a favor and try this service out? None of that, because again, it's you, your computer, and your investment style and your trading system. No boss. You know, I've quickly came to the realization that I'm not a good employee anymore. You know, I'm sure we've all had good bosses. We all have bad bosses. You don't have anyone to deal with but yourself. Now, what I've done is I've created an accountability kind of journal, accountability tribe, where I have a bunch of friends that I've given them access to my journal, because you still want to have accountability, but I don't want to be accountable to anybody. So when you look at all this, you can make a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of money to get started. There's low overhead, no advertising costs. I don't have any employees. I don't have any bosses, no customers, nothing to sell. I really think that trade living, again, think about it. Everybody's not going to just jump out there and make $100,000 starting tomorrow. But even if you're just looking for residual incomes, there's a way to do that. They're called end-of-day traders. You can still have your job. There's plenty of ways to do this, but you first have to develop who you are as a trader, even if it is as a residual income type trader, end-of-day type trader, or as you transition trying to trading for a living full time, and there's plenty of ways to do that. Define who you are, and you'll see that trading for a living is the way to go.